Hi guys and welcome to the circus. So here we have another card fight for you guys. This is gonna be a best of 3 match. On the left side it's Sir PJ piloting his Yasue's, and then on my right side it's gonna be the man, the legend himself, Tito Kai playing his Dragonic Overlord DX. So this is actually one hell of a match. I've watched this so many times and I'm still quite amazed on how they play this out. And let's see what happens here. So the Yasuie player went first. He rode into Takihime, riding, getting a draw, and then checking top 7 for a Yasuie or Yasuie Tenma. He got himself a regular Yasuie, which is gonna be the right target for his grade 3 turn, which is gonna be really good. And then right here, he proceeds to going to the Kagero's turn, rides a heat shot. I believe that's heat shot, getting a quick shield, and then using that skill of heat shot to draw one and discard the quick shield from the starter skill. So he swings for 8. Now the Yasuie player thinks on guarding. If he didn't guard, he might have just he didn't guard, so he checked. Oh no, there's no attacking yet. I'm sorry about that. He decided to call a air mode there, and then called a, I forgot the name of that grade 1. So he checked nothing as well, and then swings for 16. No, it's 16 plus 3 is 19. So he checked a front there. He took 2 damage on the first turn. That's actually quite huge. Rides onto the grade 2 triple rare that I forgot the name, but the skill is to CB1 Soul Blast 1, copy himself from the deck or drop zone, I believe. So he called a copy, and when he has the same unit on the field, he gains +3. So it's a 12k attacker on both sides. So he swings for 12, drive checks a front, damages another heat shot, checks another heat shot, and then proceeds to dealing 2 damage, and then proceeds to our Kagero's turn. He went for an assist. Alright, so looking at his hand, he has the end in his hand, the X, but no grade 2s. Got himself a Torrid Cannon at least, and then proceeds to ditching 2 cards from his hand. I believe he'll just ditch 1 PG, or I don't know if he'll maintain a lot of PGs in hand. So he removed 2 cards, 1 PG and 1 I didn't see much. Okay, so he proceeds now to, I don't know if he'll use Torrid Cannon skill. Okay, so he called over another unit, then used Torrid Cannon skill to move a normal unit from the drop zone, retire your guard, and draw another card. So that's another plus. And right here, since he retired a unit, maybe he'll use Airmo. Okay, he used Airmo to countercharge 1 and then draw another card. So he proceeds to building up a lot of cards in his hand, just to prepare for the first grade 3 turn of Yasuie. So he proceeds to hitting for 10. He guarded for a no pass. He checked nothing, and then proceeds now to Yasue's first grade 3 turn. He rides onto the regular Yasuie, gets himself a Axel 2 because it's the best gift for Axel clans for now. And then right here, he draws a card and then proceeds to I don't know what he will do this time. If he'll proceed to go multi-attacking, he might just be able to push more damage, take advantage of this opportunity of the 10k base Vanguard. He used a grade 3 searcher to get himself a copy of Tenma so that he can re-ride if he wants to. Right here, he discarded the Tenma, and then what will happen next? He actually he will choose between just reserving his hand or going face a lot of times. Okay, so he has Muda. He calls a Metamorphox to copy a unit on board. So she is now a Muda, and then using Yasue's skill to copy the 2 units on board, which is a Mudo and a Metamorphox, which copies the name of Muda. So he calls 2 Mudos on board, which will set him for a multi attack with at the same time he'll get more hand cards in the end phase. So Muda is a really good source of card advantage on the first grade 3 turn. So if he has at least 1 copy of Muda, he can just potentially call more using Yasuie's skill. Right here, called a Takihime. He swings for 12k for a so he guarded for 2 pass there for 25k. First check, he got himself a draw trigger, giving power to the rear guard on the axle circle, and then second check, he gets a Tenma, and then proceeding to using that skill to discard 2 cards to rear ride a Tenma from the drop zone. So right here, he gets himself another Axel 2, draws a card. He drawed first before going to Axel 2, but doesn't really matter. He swings for 25, I believe that's 25. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Will he take it or not? He did check it. He checked a front on top of that. So he got himself 3 damage, Torrid Cannon check, no defensives. He swings for 22 plus, I forgot the number. He takes the damage and gets himself a defensive for a 20k body. Now 6 for 12, 22, 30k with Takihime. He got it for 35. Now he swings for 22, 27, 37. So he got it for 20k. So now he just took 2 damage and then proceeds to the end phase of the Yasuie's turn. He now draws a total of 3 cards because he has a full board of Mudos, 3 Mudos to be exact, and then draws 3 cards because he meets all the conditions he needs for that skill. So right here, he rode onto the X. Finally, the Yasuie player is at 2 damage, so it'll be quite a struggle. Plus, his hand is big, and he is now pushed to 4, so this is gonna be quite hard to push. But at least he'll try his best because who knows what could happen on those drive checks. So right here, he calls a Igni Road, uses the skill of Igni Road, and then what happens here? Okay, so he uses the skill of Igni Road, I guess. Yeah, he uses the skill of Igni Road, so it's on place. Check top 7 for a potential DX to filter out the deck, shuffle the deck, just randomize the deck as much as possible for at least a better chance in getting those triggers. So he didn't check anything there, sadly. He calls another Igni Road, checks another top 7, and then hopes to get himself a copy of the X, which he did, which is it's a good card advantage at least. Maybe discard fodder for anything he needs to, especially with the X's skill. So right here, he rode the X right before using the the X's skill. No, okay, so he got himself the N. Did he get the N? I didn't see. Okay, so right here he checked nothing. Now he got a heal and a draw on top of that, so he got 2 defensive triggers in his first swing. That's actually quite huge. With a 13k body versus a 32k body, that's actually still. Now he used the discard 3 to get plus 10. Okay, so he guarded for a no pass, drive checked an air mode, nothing again, and then using that skill finally to CB1 Soul Blast 1 to stand again for a 23k 1 pass. So what will happen here? Will he guard? He guarded for a no pass once again and drive checks, nothing again. So now his columns now won't hit. He doesn't have any front row, so he just proceeds to ending his turn. So the other columns are 20 plus 5, 20, 33. So it won't hit anymore. They won't hit anymore. So he just proceeds to going to Yasuie's turn, riding another Tenma just for the sake of the Axel 2 and the skill of Takihime to CB1 and call a unit from the drop zone with the same card name as the one on board. I think that's how it works, right? So he called another Takihime from the drop zone, and then what will he do next? Will he go for game here? He calls one Tenma, another grade 3 searcher, which is gonna be a 13k, and he gets himself a Shirayuki. And then right here, he got himself Shirayuki to hand this one off Shirayuki for now, because it's not yet. This game hasn't implemented the unrestriction rule yet. And then right here, he uses Shirayuki to -5 the opponent's front row, making the X only at 8k base, meaning every single thing will hit effectively. No other things, no other reason not to hit the Vanguard for now. He's going to go for his skill turn right now. He retired one and called a Awazu just to filter out as much as possible. He called 2 Awazus, in fact, so he dropped 2 units there. The purpose here is just to filter out the deck as much as possible to get those triggers going with his 2 drive checks at the very least. Now the Kagero pair is at 4 damage. They're both at 4 damage, so if he checks a heal, it'll go off effectively. But let's just see what happens here. Okay, so right here he just shuffles the deck. He just filters out a lot of cards before going for his possible kill turn. And then right here, hand size of Kagero isn't that big. He checked nothing there on his 4 drive check, so his hand isn't that big of a shield, at least as far as I know. I think he has 1 PG in hand because of the assist earlier. He removed one PG, maybe 2 PGs. I actually kind of forgot. So what will happen here? Now he shall do everything he can just to push for game here. Now he swings for 25 for 2 drives. He checks a heal trigger. He didn't get a front, but the heal goes off. So right here he gave the power to the Awazo on the rear guard, the axle circle. He checks a crit, so yeah, he is now at 18k body, but everything else won't hit. Shirayuki won't hit, Tenma will hit because it's 27k. And then what will happen next? Will he guard? Of course he will guard, but what will he guard with? So will he use his intercepts or not? So he is an 18k body, so he needs to guard for 10. So will he guard for 2 intercepts? I think he will. So he guarded for the 2 intercepts and then returned the grade 1 at the back row to the bottom of the deck using Tenma's skill. So his board is now cleared, but the problem is now that I think his other columns won't hit anymore. Okay, so he can still hit because it's a 13k booster plus an 8, so it's 21. Yeah, it will still hit. So the other column is 24 because of the heal trigger, and the other one is 8 plus 13 plus 9 is 22. It still hit. So everything else will still he passed the turn, so he didn't get to finish him off. Now he uses the end once again. The cross to get the end from the deck, and then getting the skills, and then proceeding to hitting 3 more times, and then he's gonna go for game this turn because he has no chance of winning next turn because of his low hand size. And yeah, that's about it he can do for now. He called under the Ignoro, checked nothing, I guess. And then right here, what will he do? Well, how will this game go on? So he called a Calamity Tower, the Soul Blast 1, and give plus 15k to Vanguard. And then right here he called a Decat. He still has a Decat in hand, so he guarded for this is 28k plus 2 towards the guard. Forgot. He checked nothing. So he got himself a front trigger for a defensive setting for 22k. Uses that skill to CB1 Soul Blast 1 to hit for 28 still with 1 drive, and needs to push for game here. He has 2 intercepts. He got it for 10, so it's a 32, 47, 52. It's a bit of overguarding, but whatever happens. He checked nothing again, and then he proceeds to just discarding his whole hand and then proceeding to finally attacking. He can still guard everything with a huge shield, and then right here he just proceeds to hitting for 25 into his 22k, and he's still successfully guarded everything. He has no hand guards. He has 5 damage. All he can hope now is heal triggers. If he has 2 heals, he can possibly survive this, but if he only checks 1 heal, he automatically loses. Right, so he uses now the skill of Tenma. No, he rode onto Yasuie to draw another card, and then uses Yasuie. I think he used Yasuie to CB1 Soul Blast 1 to call a bunch of units with the same card from same name from his board. He called another Yasuie and then a Awazu. So right here, his deck is really thin. It's as thin as the hand cards, I guess. And this is gonna be a final hurrah. He swings for 25k, drive, checks a heal, and then gives a power to the other Awazu and checks a front trigger. So he checked a heal trigger right there. So he got a heal sitting at 23k body, but he checked a front so they can still hit everything. So if he gets at least one more heal trigger, he can possibly survive this. So right here, let's see what will the Yasuie player decide to do. So he swings for 27 again. He checks for potential heal checks. He checks his drop zone, his his damage zone in his hand. If he has more Genjos, I think he has 2 more Genjos, specifically the heal trigger. So if he checks a heal, everything will shut down. So yeah, the other column is just he can guard it, I guess, because he has still hand guards. So if he manages to get a he didn't check one. That's sad. Let's now proceed to game 2. Alrighty then, let's proceed now to game number 2. This time Kagero player went first. He rides now onto grade 1, which is now Heat Shot Dragon, draws a card, uses that skill to discard one and then draw a card. He discarded a PG right there, so that's one less PG to work with. Now proceeds now to the Murakumo's turn, rides on to Takehime once more, gets himself a quick shield and then draw a card, and then now gets to check his top 7 for a potential Yasuie or Yasuie Tenma, just to potentially get something. Ooh, that's hard. He didn't check anything there out of 8 targets he can possibly check. So right here, he didn't check a single Yasuie. So we don't know yet if he has Yasuie in his hand for a proper right target. He calls a grade 3 searcher just to possibly just search. No, he didn't check anything at all. So out of 12 cards, he didn't check a single grade 3 there. That's harsh. Now right here, he swings for 8 onto the 8. He checks and then checks nothing. He swings for 8, drive checks a front. He still takes it for 2 damage, and right here he proceeds now to his grade 2 turn. Okay, so Tito Kai just proceeds now to grade 2 turn, and he rides onto what unit? This is gonna be another amazing match. I'm hoping that they'll go well. I hope that they'll proceed to game 3. And then right here, he rode onto Torrid Cannon and then used no, he didn't use Torrid Cannon yet, and he called a a Lava Flow Dragon to check top 5. He didn't check as well. I guess there's just quite of bad luck on both sides. So right here, he doesn't have a single normal unit in the drop zone, so he still can't use Torrid Cannon skill. I'm guessing he was hoping to discard something from Lava Flow skill to draw another card from Torrid Cannon skill. So let's see what he does here. The Yasuie player is still sitting at 8k base, so he called a Airmo. He swings for 10. So will he guard or not? And he didn't guard. He checked a DX finally. So he checked a Takehime. He swinged for 21. No, it's 19. So no, it's 19, 24 because he has more rear guards because of Lava Flow Dragon. So will he guard or not? He just takes the damage, and then he checked a Fushimi. That's Fushimi, right? I actually kind of forgot the name of that unit, but it's the back row sniper. He can attack from any rear guard. So right here, he rode onto Awazu and swings for a 1 pass. He doesn't have a booster. He checked nothing, so he didn't manage to hit the opponent. Now he swings for 8 onto the rear guard Lava Flow. Will he guard or not? He guarded. No, he just took and he took the hit and then retired his Lava Flow to have a normal unit in the drop zone, possibly. No, he rides onto the X right here, and then maybe he has another Torrid Cannon in hand, just possibly. Rides and uses that skill to Soul Blast one and check the get himself a copy of the end, put it in the soul, copy the skills, and let's proceed now to one of the most horrific turns ever. This is actually quite scary because the Kagero player went first, so he can swing 3 times with 3 drive checks, but his opponent is sitting at 9 and he is at 2 damage, so it's gonna be quite hard. So right here, he moved up Airmo, and let's see, will he commit more cards? So he didn't commit more cards. He just swing for 13 against his 9k and just Proceeding to going to the guard phase, he guarded for 2 pass. First check a heal trigger which goes off, giving everything to Vanguard. And then second check, he checked a Calamity Tower, so he didn't manage to what do you call it? To hit that. And then right here, he uses the X, I guess. He uses the CB1 Soul Blast 1. Yeah, he used the CB1 and then Soul Blast 1, and then to hit the Vanguard and then for 1 drive. And then right here, will he guard or not? Right here, he didn't guard. He checked a critical trigger and giving crit and power to Van. It gives 5 damage in 1 turn. Now he swinged at the rear guard and then proceeds. Now he didn't use the discard 3 because it's still at grade 2 turn. He rode onto Tenma. He unfortunately misrode the proper ride target, which is normal Yasuie. And then right here, at least he has a Vanguard skill that is actually useful besides from Yasue's normal Yasuie skill. So he didn't use his hand, so he just swinged at the rear guard and then gather up some hand cards to survive at least next turn. Now he rode once again to another copy of the X, getting another Force 2, putting it on the other rear guard, and then proceeds now to swinging Vanguard to Vanguard. He didn't use his hand at all. So right here, 13 versus 12, 5 damage. He needs to guard everything. I think he has a decent amount of hand. I don't know if he can hold up right here, but let's just see if he can. So right here, he thinks on what to guard. He will go for a no guard. He goes for a 2 pass. So first check, a crit, giving all the effects to Van, and second check, he didn't get another one. So he's safe. He didn't attack anymore, so he just went for a pass turn just to gather up some triggers, because he doesn't have a CB anymore, so he can't ride. I mean, he can't stand his Vanguard unless he discarded the 3 cards. But he decided to keep those hands because he wants to at least try to survive this onslaught of the Sir PJ against him. So right here, he rode onto normal Yasuie for the potential multi-attack. Right here, he called a Mudo, a Rainy Madame, and an Awazu to drop a Shirayuki. So right here, he used Takehime again, and then called Takehime, and then used Yasue's skill to call a Mudo. And what will he call? Now he has 2 Mudos on board, so he can potentially draw 2 cards until the end, on the end phase. He still has a full column empty. So what will he decide to call? He can call a Rainy Madame, an Awazu, or another Takehime if possible. His hand is quite big. He still has a quick shield in hand. So what will he call? I actually have no idea what will happen here. So let's see. So he has a Shirayuki on board. Okay, so he has a Rainy Madame. So if he decided to not to guard a single attack here, he will have Shirayuki in his hand at the end of that battle. So he called another Rainy Madame. So right here, he has 1 slot missing. So what will he do? He can just potentially call. Oh, he called a Fushimi. Okay, so he swinged for 12k for 1 pass onto his he went for a 2 pass. First check, nothing, a draw trigger, giving power to Awazu, draw a card. Second check, nothing, a grade 2 triple rare that I don't care about. So right here, he used Yasue's skill again, discarding the quick shield and the grade 2 that he checked earlier to ride a Tenma from the drop zone. And right here, he got another Axel 2, draw another card, possibly use Tenma. I mean, Takehime. Will he use Takehime? He checks his drop zone. Will he use Takehime? So he didn't use Takehime. Swings for 20k onto the opponent's Vanguard for 1 to pass. Right here, I know it's a 1 to pass. He checked a front. Okay, so he checked a front, so it's a tire board. It's massive again. He swings for 20 to 30k. He guarded for 20k shield. Uses that Rainy Madame skill to get Shirayuki to hand. So that's the power of Rainy Madame. So he swings for 27 again. He got it for 15k, so 28. Now he swings for 24, so he takes the damage. He checks a Calamity Tower, no defensive yet. He swings for 14, 24, 32. He checks. He didn't guard it, so he takes the damage onto 4. And then right here is gonna be the potential kill turn for the Kagero player. Tito Kai can possibly kill Sir PJ right now because of the Vanguard swings. He is now at 5 damage. Oh, he forgot to use Muda's skill to soul charge him in and draw a card, just to potentially have more card advantage onto defending his opponent's onslaught this turn. So he used the X once again to get the end from the deck to copy the skill, and then right here he can now swing 3 times with 4 drive checks, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a huge massacre. He has a pretty decent hand, I believe. I can't see how much hand cards he has, but looking at he did get a lot of advantages, so I think he can do this. So right here he used Ignirode to check the X, filter out, and then add it to hand for more card advantage. Called an Airmo, called a nut of the cat. He goes for the cat for a Battledore skill for this turn. Now he used 1 Calamity to Soul Blast, give plus 15, and then second he called another Calamity Tower for a 30k Vanguard, and then right he called 3 Calamity Towers for a 45k plus 13, so it's 58k body with 3 swings, 2 crits, and a Battledore. So he uses that massive Exodia hand he has to finish the opponent this very turn. So he used a PG for I discarded a copy of the grade 2, so to fulfill the Battledore requirement. Checked first, checked second, he checked nothing there, but it's still a 58k body. Now he proceeds to 68k. So guys, I'm so hyped for this. 68k Battledore, 2 crits. Now can he guard this? So he guarded for a Shirayuki to -10 the board, so it's at 58, still a 58k body, which is really huge. It's his Igniro Dragon is now at 5k, I believe, or 10k. So right here guarded for 37, 37. So 37, 47, yeah, 47, and then still needs 15k. Yeah, he's at 50. He's at 63. No, 58. So he guarded for 10. He needs 15k to 1 pass. So he still has another swing. So he guarded for a no pass. Drive checks nothing again. And then right here he used that final skill to CB1, Soul Blast 1, stand the Vanguard for another 58k Battledore 2 crits. Right here, what can he do? So Ignirode is now sitting at 18 plus 3, 21k or 16k. He now guarded for the last PG and a Battledore, and then drive checks nothing, gives up. I don't know, he checks a draw, power to the van, and checks nothing, and the 6 damage heal. He was close though, he was close. So let's now proceed to game number 3. Alrighty folks, let's proceed now to the game 3 of our best of 3 match, Yasuie versus the X. So this time Yasuie player went first, rides a grade 3 searcher, draws a card, checks the top 5, and got himself a copy of Muda. So he will potentially have a ton of hand cards on his first grade 3 turn while keeping his multi attacks. So that's actually a really good combo right there. And then right here he proceeds now to Kagero's turn, draws a card, rides a Lava Flow Dragon, draws a card, getting himself a quick shield between the Adelaides, and then checks top 5 for a potential grade 3, which he didn't get one, but it's fine. We can still hope that he will get his the X real soon. And then this is actually the most amazing game of this best of 3 in my opinion. It's here, he swings for 8, he checks nothing, and then he checks a Rainy Madame onto the damage zone and proceeding to grade 2 turn. So he rides once again onto the grade 2 triple rare that I don't care about. Even I don't know his name, because I literally don't care. Okay, so he's Kagebunshin. What? He cloned himself for a Soul Blast and a CB, and then gets +3 as long as he has a copy, the same copy on board. So he swings for 12, checks an Awazu, gets a defensive, and sadly he didn't. The other guy can't hit anymore. So yeah, you can't do anything about that. So next, we proceed now to grade 2 turn of our Kagero player. So he rides onto Igni Road and checks top 7 to potentially get a copy of the X for his proper right target for his first grade 3 turn next turn. Next turn after the Yasuie player's turn. So this is gonna be one hell of a match. I'm really excited to see what they will do to claim victory for this best of 3 match. So right here, looking at the state of the board, they're both at 1 damage. It's not that bad of a situation, but whoever goes first here can actually set the tempo of the game. So let's see what the Kagero player decides to do here. Will he commit more cards? He did. So he called a grade 3 searcher. So he can potentially get another grade 3, which he didn't, but that's fine because he already has his grade 3, which is the X, so he can properly ride next turn. So what will happen here? If he calls another unit here, he can make his lava flow into 13k. So will he commit more cards? That's the question. So I think he will, he might not, depending on his decisions. He did, so he called another grade 1 behind lava flow to swing for 10 with his vanguard to his vanguard. Now will he go for a no pass? Oh, it's a no pass. Drive, checking a heal, so it goes off, giving power to his other column, and then proceeding to hitting, and then takes a damage because it's too big. Okay, so he checked another Fushimi there. So right here we proceed to our Yasuie player's first grade 3 turn. What will he do? Will he commit more hand? What will he do? A aggro turn or just a passive turn? So right here he rode onto Yasuie, so the proper right target. Thankfully he had it in his hand. So right here he still has 1 grade 2 on board, an Axel Circle, so he thinks on what to do here. If he will commit his hand to push, our Kagero player doesn't have damage, so he has the most chances in hitting defensive triggers. If he gets 2, at least 2, I think it'll be fine because it'll be enough to stop everything as far as I know. Okay, so what will be the decision here, Sir PJ? What will you do to get over this, to win this game? Will you do what you do normally, which is rushing on first grade 3 turn to take advantage of the 10k base body, or not? So right here, what will the what possibilities will you give us this time? So looking at the state again of the board, 2 against 0. So it's kind of bad for the Yasuie player, but at least he has 1 CB to do some combo plays this turn, because Yasuie only needs at least 1 CB to perform. If he has more CBs, he'll use Takehime to call more stuff, but right here he can only use 1 CB, so it's only 1 re-ride. No, use of Yasuie skill only. So he called an Awazu to drop a copy of a card from the deck and copies the name for the rest of the turn. So what will he drop? If he drops a Shirayuki, it's most likely gonna be okay. He dropped a Muda. I was supposed to say that if he dropped a Shirayuki, maybe he has a Ready Madame on hand. So since he didn't drop Shirayuki, he doesn't have a Ready Madame. At least that's what I understand. So he called another 2 Mudas in hand, which is gonna be really good. He used Yasuie's skill to CB1 Soul Blast 1 to call the last Mudo on the drop zone, which he copied from from Awazu, and then called the last grade 2 triple rare that he has in the deck just to fill out the spots. He needed maximum of he need to fill out his board to make use the most of Mudo to draw 3 cards at the end of the turn. Okay, so let's see what happens here. He since he has more copies of Mudo, every Mudo gets boost, so it's fine. So right here he swings for 12 and gets 2 pass and then checks a front. So everything is powered up now. Okay, so uses that skill to discard 2 Tenmas. Okay, he has a lot of grade 3s in hand. So he discard 2 Tenmas to ride Tenma from those 2 discarded ones, and then gets another Axel, and then now he swings for 22, 24. So 24, 1 drive, and everything has a front. So he checks on Awazu, which is nothing. So what happens here? He checked a crit. Now his Vanguard now is at 20k body, so basically the front trigger is now denied. And what will the Yasuie player do? Anything? I believe the grade 2 can still hit because it gains +3. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he hits 27, and then right here, no, he just swinged that Vanguard, so he got another defensive. So he swings for the everything shuts down. Got shut down now. So he just decides to hit the rear guard. That sinks for 9 plus 12. It's 21, 31. So it hits, but everything else couldn't. So yeah, he just proceeds to end phase and uses Mudo to draw 3 cards. So he got a lot of advantages there. But while still keeping the multi-attack, sadly it got shut down by 2 defensive triggers. But it can actually signal Sir PJ that his first grade 3 won't have that much triggers, because he did check quite a few during his turn. So it's just possible. It's just a possibility that he won't get much triggers here. He is sitting at 2 damage, so he can possibly just take 1 Vanguard swing with 2 crits. If he gets another crit, it's still fine, but it's still hard. It's still gonna be hard. So he did use the access skill, obviously, to get the end and then copy the skill. He uses another Igniro to check top 7, potentially get a copy of the X from the top 7 cards. Will he get one though? Okay, so he didn't manage to get a copy of the X. That's sad, but it's still fine. It's still fine. Okay, so proceeding to cutting the deck, and then his board is not it's not that bad. He still has an empty spot on the front row. Sir PJ doesn't have that much intercept. Oh, he has 2 intercepts at least. He called a Tord Cannon, uses Tord Cannon to retire something for a CB1 and put a normal unit from the drop zone to the bottom of the deck and draw a card. So okay, so he did do it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what will he do now? He didn't commit more hand cards, so he just swings for 18. No, he gets +5, right? So it's 23. So he needs 15k to guard. I think Tord Cannon gets +5, right? So yeah. So oh no, it's only a 10. It doesn't get +5. So he just guarded for 10k with an intercept and a grade 1 in hand. Agreed to. He get a crit, everything to Vanguard. He needs. Oh, he got a heal, so it goes off. So he needs the second check, a front. That's 2 defensive triggers, and the third check is gonna be another heal. Oh my god, that trigger sack, bro! You are godly with these trigger checks. So right here, Sir PJ is now standing at 42k, but the X is still standing at 23. Plus the 10k from his skill, so 33k without using that much. So he has a no pass. There's a no pass. He checks another Calamity Tower, and then right here he did. Okay, so he decided to use that skill finally to CB1 Soul Blast 1 and restand the Vanguard, so that he can potentially lethal him and then commit and make him commit more hand cards. So that's actually quite worth it sometimes. So he just committed one more hand card into proceeding to no pass, and then right here he just passed the turn. So right here he has 10 Master Vanguard. He didn't get the normal Yasuie, so he just needed to he couldn't perform the reride, but he can still do something with his Tenma. He has a Takihime and Awazu. He dropped a Shirayuki finally. So he dropped a Shirayuki. Maybe he has Rainy Madame in hand to potentially get Shirayuki back after he guarded a single attack. So he used Tenma to pure call Shirayuki, and then Shirayuki uses a skill to Soul Blast to make the opponent's Vanguard reduce 5k. So it's now an 8k Vanguard for the rest of the turn. And then right here, he still has quite a decent board, but it lacks a bunch of units. So he overcalled. He called an Awazu over the Shirayuki to put it in the drop zone still, and possibly use her again. So he used Awazu to drop another card from the deck. What will he drop? He dropped a Tenma. Okay, so he is now a Tenma, and the other one is Shirayuki. Okay, so I think he still haven't used. I don't know. I think he already used Tenma's skill, right? So he called Shirayuki with that skill. So he called a Rainy Madame. So since it's an 8K, he can still hit. He can still hit the X. It's actually really cool. So he goes for a 2-pass and then checks nothing there. Okay, so since it's an 8K, he can still hit. Since he didn't make the Vanguard hit, he got Shirayuki back from the drop zone to the hand using Raining Madame skill while providing soul. So it's actually really good. So he swings for 14, he swings for another 14 to the rear guards, and then he passed the turn. He didn't attack there with his 9k remaining Vanguard because he wants to CB deny and prevent the X from restanding 3 times. If he wants to restand, he needs to commit 3 cards from his hand to the drop zone to perform one more attack. Right here, he swung for 2-pass. First check, nothing. Second check, he crit, so nothing else happened. He passed the turn because he didn't want to commit more hand cards right there, because he knows that he can potentially lose when he commits more hand cards. So right here, he still didn't get Yasuie, the normal Yasuie from his to ride up this time, but he can still have the Tenma skill, so it's still pretty good. Right here, the state of the board is 2 against 3. It's still quite fine. I can actually see no one getting more advantage because they still don't have that much damage. The Kagero play is CB denied, which is a really good play, but it still doesn't give him it still gives him room for defensive triggers for his onslaught this time. So he used so he just swinged, he checked nothing there, and then he proceeds to passing the turn while not getting triggers, and then he CB denied him once more while, oh my god, that's so cool. So he swinged again for 13k 2 crits while still keeping his huge hand. Oh gosh, this is so cool. You know, he just one crit can seal the game. Okay, he didn't check one. No, he got 2 damage all through. He didn't have. Okay, he checked a heal, which goes off once again. That's 3 heals down. So he has 1 heal left, and he has a lot of hand cards. While the opponent is sitting on 2. He is now at 4 damage, so I think he needs to make the use of this turn now. So I think he was waiting for a Yasuie to come out like this one. So he now has Yasuie, so he can ride Yasuie, get another XL2, draw another card, and then proceeding to making use of this turn to potentially burn his hand or potentially just kill him. So uses Shirayuki from his hand to CB Soul Blast to make the opponent's Vanguard into an 8k for Dao. Calls a, what's that? Is that Metamorphox? Okay, so copied something, but then now he uses Yasue's skill. No, he overcalled. So he called an Awazu to drop another card from the deck to filter out the deck. Now he has 2 Shirayukis on board, and he has still has a Shirayuki because of Metamorphox. So he uses Yasue's skill right here to CB1 Soul Blast 1 to superior call 2 units. He didn't call 2, he just called 1 Shirayuki. I don't know, I forgot he only has 1 Shirayuki because it's still limited. Okay. Sorry. So he used that skill of Shirayuki once again to make the opponent's Vanguard 3k. So the big boy himself, the X, is now sitting at 3k. That is so I don't know what the word I can use, but it's so cool and it's so weird. I don't know. So he is sitting at 3k, so he needs to commit 10k more guard for every attack. So it's gonna be a huge problem for him if he can't guard everything here. And if he doesn't get that much defensive, he can potentially just die in this situation. So he has 6 attacks, one restand and potentially more because he has Takihime. So he overcalled again. He put the Chirayuki again to the drop zone so he can recall it using Takehime possibly after he re-rides. So he swings for 8k because Metamorphox can still hit that 13k because he is now at 3k. He guarded for 10k here, uses that skill from Radium what do you call it? Why did he do? Okay, so he used that to Rainy Madame to put it in the soul and got himself Aishirayuki from the drop zone. So I think he didn't use. Okay, so he checked a draw. He didn't get the Chirayuki, but he just put the soul back there. So he got a draw, giving the power there, and then crit the Vanguard and then power to the other Awazu. I mean Awazu and the grade 3 triple rare, grade 2 triple rare. So he got 2 damage down. He got 1 defensive. So the X is now back at 13k. So right here he just put the cards there for reference. Now he re-ride onto Tenma. His deck is pretty thin, so he can possibly this is possibly the last turn. So he superior called Shirayuki once again using Takehime's skill, and then right here he made the X once again an 8k body. If he didn't get a single defensive there, he would have gotten to -2. Oh my god, this is so disgusting. So he still gets 5 damage now. He didn't get a single defensive now. Can he still guard everything, dude? Okay, so he's swung for 24. What will he need to swing again? He got another front. I forgot shoots. Alright, so everything is so huge. 24 against at 8k, so he needs to guard like 20k to guard because 15k won't cut it. So 20k for each swing. Ah gosh, this is actually quite okay. So he guarded successfully for 20k, so he swings for 27, so he needs to guard for 25 shield. Yeah, 25 shield because it's gonna be 33. Okay. Oh no, it's only 20k because it's 28. Okay, 20k shield again against that Shirayuki that is swinging. Okay, so he guarded for another 20k, and then he swings for 24, which is for 15k shield. He takes the damage and he got a draw trigger. Whew, that was one good match.